But this will impact potholes, won't it? Snow, cold, ice, wet. It's January. It's pothole season. In fact, National Pothole Day, yes, there is one, is coming up next Thursday. And we've got a fair few contenders for top pothole in the country. In the county, you could argue. If you spot a pothole, the council says the best way is to report it through a website called Fix My Street, ideally with a photo attached. That helps officers to see how serious it is, whether it's already been logged, and where it sits in the queue. Now, according to Oxfordshire County Council, there were 958 reports made to Fix My Street just in the last week, although these were not all pothole related, and 1,741 Fix My Street issues were fixed in the past month. Now, once it's reported, potholes are usually checked within 10 days. And if you do hit one of those in your car or your vehicle, we do have some advice for you. We've got an expert on the line. Scott Dixon is consumer and motoring disputes expert who admits he knows more than's healthy about potholes. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Good morning, Lily.
Lovely to have you. Is it cold where you are, Scott? Is it? Yeah.
In Edinburgh, it's 2 degrees, and we've had a slight dusting of snow in the past hour or two. Yeah, it's a bit warmer here than it is down your way, but it doesn't feel it.
No, I know. But, and the temperature, we'll get onto it, does affect potholes. In fact, let's talk about it now, shall we? Scott, why is this time of year so bad when it comes to potholes?
Well, I mean, it's obviously the dark nights and the potholes are filled with water. And let's not forget, it's not just a nuisance, Lily. They are a danger to life, particularly for cyclists and motorcyclists at this time of year, because they just can't see them because it's dark and the potholes are filled with water and what have you. But the unspoken problem with the road maintenance is road funding. Although it's been underfunded for years, a huge part of the problem is utility firms digging up the roads, usually after they've just been resurfaced, and not reinstating them properly. So what you see is trenches on the roads. They're often not sealed properly at the edges. So water gets in, freezes, expands, and breaks the roads up and creates more potholes. And councils are not consistently checking or enforcing the repairs to recharge the work back to the contractors. So taxpayers end up footing the bill for that as well.
And say, Scott, let's move the story on. Say you have unfortunately encountered a pothole when you're driving around. What do you do then? Can you claim? What's the sort of onward journey there?
Well, the first thing you need to do is report it. So you can either report it via Fix My Street or fillthathole.org, or simply contact your local authority direct by phone or via social media. And if you hit a pothole and you believe it's damaged your vehicle, report it. Take photos if it's possible to evidence your claim. And if it's safe to do so, maybe put your foot by the pothole or a bottle of water in the pothole for scale, because it's not the width of the pothole, it's the depth that counts. And I would suggest doing that, because nobody obviously carries a ruler for such events. And you will be asked to provide a sketch with your claim to pinpoint the pothole. And that's to help the local authority find the pothole, because there's that many on the roads. And get an estimate for the cost of repairs, or provide a copy receipt for the damage to your vehicle, because you are seeking a full refund due to the negligence of the local authority, and include that from the outset. But also submit a freedom of information request, because it's likely that your claim will be rejected by claims handlers. Local authorities, they deploy claims handlers to just reject as many claims as possible, basically. So submit a freedom of information request. Ask for inspection records for the past 12 months and all reports received to any road defects in the past 12 months, temporary and permanent repair specification and criteria, and a copy of the works orders to identify how the pothole was repaired. And what you're trying to do is, it's a process of elimination to pinpoint liability on the council.
Gosh, it sounds like that's quite an involved thing there, Scott. So report it properly, take photos, go back and see what has been done, and get an estimate of how much it will cost, and just sort of work through it. And are people generally sort of successful?
It varies, Lily.
Okay.
It is a lottery across the UK. Some councils just refuse all claims, virtually all claims. But what you need, they rely on you just giving up at the first hurdle. And claims handlers, they're not independent third parties. And they're lost adjusters, and their default position is that they can only be held liable for potholes that have been reported and cannot be held responsible for every pothole on the roads. So they use default responses, and the favourite one is a repair was carried out once the defect was reported, but unfortunately this was after the incident. And that's the reason why you need to submit a freedom of information request, because you need to get the inspection records, all reports received, and copies of the work orders, because you can't rely on them to tell you the truth. And you need to prove that they are liable. And it's not easy, but the problem is, I mean, years ago, it was a black and white decision with the definition of a pothole. So if it was a certain depth, it would need to be repaired, and it was a black and white decision. But now it's been watered down to what's called a risk-based approach, and it's just to make it easier for them to reject all claims. And yeah, staff they've got to consider a variety of factors without just mentioning the depth.
Yeah, Scott, thank you so much for giving such a thorough thing. I had no idea it was so involved. So be tenacious. Quick last question to you, Scott. I mean, it is National Pothole Day on the 15th of January. How will you be celebrating?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I mean, you've just got to be tenacious with your claims, and just don't pay out from your own pocket or claim on your insurance. Prove liability, stick to your guns, and if it's not right, it's worth the fight.
Brilliant. Scott, thank you so much for your help there. That is Scott Dixon, who's a consumer and motoring disputes expert.